2 days left. That's it.
That is it. And that's when the Buckeyes take on Texas A&M. Tonight, the Buckeye Blitz is heating up. The team is getting ready, and Buckeye support is on the way to New Orleans. Fans packed Fort Columbus today trying to get to the Big Easy.
Tonight, these diehard Buckeyes are still on the road. Their bus left early this morning from the OSU campus. The trip down will take about 24 hours, but it will be a trip well worth it. By bus or by plane, it doesn't matter how these folks get there, just as long as they are there in time for the game on Friday.
And our team is already in place tonight. Dave Kaler and Angela Pace just got to New Orleans, and they join us from just outside the Superdome. Hi, guys.
How are you? How are you doing?
When you say just got to New Orleans, truer words were never spoken. I mean, we just got off the plane, rushed over here, and basically right now we're not even with you in spirit because we're thinking about the shrimp etouffee we're going to have as soon as we get a chance to eat.
You know, one thing we did bring down here, though, was the good weather because we came in and all Dom Tiberi has been doing, said, boy, you guys, it was fog here this morning. It's been cold. It's absolutely beautiful today.
Gorgeous.
Look at the dome. Look at the sun on the dome over there.
There is not a cloud in the sky.
Fantastic.
So we really are very, very glad that we got here when we did. We are not the only ones who arrived because thousands of Buckeye fans have made it to the Big Easy. I think half of them came down with us on our flight. So we know the Buckeye fans are here in full force.
They really did. About 70,000 people will pack the stands at the Superdome. And of course, they're also packing New Orleans and down on Bourbon Street. And that's where you see these people right there, and all of them from the Buckeye State. And they are here to support their team.
But we have our horseshoe page. Yay! You brought this here? Yes. And this hat. Fur hat. And the fur hat. And the hat. I love that.
Everybody on our plane said that that's where they're going to be tonight, right?
That's where they are right now, I'm sure. And everybody who is not right in the heart of Bourbon Street right now is probably at the biggest party in Louisiana. That's the Buckeye Bash happening right now. Penny Moore is there. Penny, save us a spot.
Oh, this is so wonderful. Can you see that sun on my face?
Yes,
It's so warm down here.
Yeah.
I'm loving this trip. But let me take you inside to the convention center here in New Orleans so you can see the thousands of people who are in there at the Buckeye Bash. They are cheering, they are screaming, they listen to Andy Geiger, they've listened to Dr. Kerwin, the band has played. I tell you, these fans are ready for this game. I can hear them cheering out here. It's been a huge influx of people coming down here for this game, a lot of whom came last year when we were beaten by Florida State, but they're saying, oh, please, that's not going to happen again this year. And here's Dr. Britt Kerwin, the president of Ohio State University. I'm going to turn you around so people can see you, Dr. Kerwin, get the sun on your face, too. Are you having a good time?
Fabulous. What an event that we just had, the Buckeye Bash. The spirit, the enthusiasm, it's very infectious.
Now, this is your first year for all of these activities.
That's right.
Are you surprised, or did you know this would happen?
Well, I got a sense of it, of course, through the football season this year, but just the enthusiasm for the university, the support, the way people turn out and root for those Buckeyes, it's something special.
Okay, since you're the head honcho at this university, Dave and Angela, we're going to get him to predict the score for us. You ready, sir?
Okay, 35-12.
35-12. You're going to give them 12?
Well, you know, we're going to let them score a little bit in the fourth quarter when the game's
Make them feel better.
But my prediction is that when all is said and done, we're either going to be 1 or 2 in the country because we're going to be at least number 2. And who knows what will happen in that other game. Some of those polls might even have the Buckeyes number 1.
I would think you'd have a little pull over those polls.
Well, no, I'm afraid I don't. But you know how I would vote if I had a chance. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kerwin. I know you want to get back inside with the folks.
Go Bucks.
You betcha. Thanks very much, sir. Dave and Angela, it is a party down here.
Boy, he is
Sounds
ready,
like it, doesn't it?
isn't he? Dr. Kerwin is ready. The K-Man, as they're calling him now on campus. Well, you may have noticed that you didn't see any Buckeye football players at the Buckeye Bash. Now, they have been out today. They were plenty busy.
Yeah, they really were. On the first day's agenda here was a football clinic with more than 100 underprivileged kids from the New Orleans area. It is really an annual event for the Sugar Bowl teams, and it was hard to tell whether the kids really or the players, which ones we aren't sure who was having the most fun. And just before the Bucks, of course, did that and went on the field. They're on the field right now, and they were out there practicing, having a great time. And Texas A&M took the field a bit earlier today, so everybody's getting their game faces on because we are just about 48 hours away from kickoff.
That's right, and as Dave said, after the clinic, the team did go to the field to do some practicing. Now, this was the first day back to practice for Coach John Cooper. He has been away. He had to go to his mother's funeral, but now he is back, and he is ready for business, and somebody else who's ready for business.
Always say
The Hoagie Man is here.
He's here.
Brought the rookies along with me,
Oh,
you know.
thanks a lot.
Hey, first day in, you know, I got to get some of that jambalaya for you. I've been
Thank
sampling
you.
it all week long. Good stuff, though.
What, everything.
right.
It's just onions and everything, right? Onions.
Oh, yeah. It's good stuff. A little andouille sausage in there.
Onion.
Throw a little
Onion.
Tabasco.
Onion.
You're good to go. You're good to go. We're talking about a guy with the Texas A&M Aggies. Sir Parker is his name. He's a guy who'll be all over the field when Texas A&M throws him out there. He's the fastest guy that they have. He's the fastest guy that they'll put out there on the turf. And, of course, he's got to be a serious threat to Ohio State's chances of being a successful Sugar Bowl. So they'll have to keep an eye on him as well. Parker's coming off a nagging injury, a hamstring injury that really probably hasn't hampered him too much because of what he did against Kansas State. A couple of touchdowns, including the game winner there. But plays like the one he made against Kansas State hopefully will not happen Friday. The Aggies will, of course, use Sir Parker out of the backfield, catching passes. And, in fact, you know what? His coach thinks he may have misplaced his star running back's talents.
If I had it to do over, I would put Sir, as a young guy, I would have put him at wide receiver. I told all the NFL guys they're missing the boat if they don't take this guy as a wide receiver.
Sir Parker, athlete, good running back, great speed, scoring a winning touchdown against Kansas State.
That is the one thing he's remembered for, scoring that winning touchdown against Kansas State, and hopefully there won't be anything like that on Friday.
Well, no. I mean, you heard Penny. Penny said they're not even going to get 12 points. She got upset when Dr. Kerwin gave him 12
Dr. Kerwin
points.
gave him 12. I don't know.
I wouldn't go that far. And we know Dr. Kerwin got his PhD in mathematics, right?
So he knows numbers. He
probably knows numbers,
about.
maybe a little bit more than Penny.
Better than Penny.
As you can tell, we are just getting started here in New Orleans.
That's right. We are well underway. And next at 6, the Blitz continues. Another side to the OSU football players. They are not only playing football, they are teaching the fine points of the game to a special group of children. And we'll have an update on the team. We're going to tell you who's injured. We're going to tell you who's healthy and what we can expect come kickoff.
All right. Thanks a lot. We'll be coming back here, Andrea and Chuck, so keep it where it is, huh?
Are we green with envy? I'm green with envy.
I would say so, especially those temperatures. What's the temperature down there right now?
53 degrees and sunny.
It's a tropical 53 degrees. It feels great.
Oh, boy. We
It
are
sounds
jealous
great.
now.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Well, in the home of the Aggies, well, this is where it all happens. New Year's Day, the Buckeyes take on Texas A&M in the Superdome in New Orleans.
10 TV has crews in New Orleans tonight capturing the sights and sounds of the Big Easy all week.
And joining our crews today, 10 TV's Dave Kaler and Angela Pace. Some of the biggest partiers in the world have joined the Big Bash.
About us?
Yeah.
When are we going to have time to do that, Andrea? I don't know
right.
when we're going to have time to do that.
I
You'll
know
find it.
better.
We're working. We're working men and women here. Yes, we are. But, you know, we did bring a plane full of Buckeye fans with us down here this morning and this afternoon. I know Jay Crane of Crane Plastics and his lovely wife Meredith and their 2 children were on the plane with us, ready to make a lot of noise to let everybody know that the Buckeyes are here.
But this is the sweet music that they're making right now. This is the music down on the French Quarter. The saxophone player, I gave him $5 last year to play this song. Penny gave him $15 earlier this week to play this song.
Dom gave him 20.
Is that right, Dom? Well, that's Dom's problem anyway. And speaking of Dom, he's with us here tonight.
Dom joins us now that you got a chance to talk to, besides the saxophone player, a real Buckeye superstar. So now tell us, what is the deal? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? What's he going to do?
Well, it's a question Buckeye fans certainly want to know. They want to know, and we're talking about that superstar, David Boston. He's the Buckeye receiver. He's the man with the plan. He's the guy that can get it done. Is he staying or is he going? Well, I had a chance to talk to him, and I talked about a big decision he has to make. He stole the show in the Michigan game, coming up with big play after big play. David Boston, a junior out of Texas, is a hot property. But will he come back for his senior year, or will he leave early for the National Football League?
I mean, I'm the only one that can make the decision. I got to make the decision that's best for myself. And, you know, after the game, like I said, I would talk with my parents. I'll talk with Coach Cooper and some of my close friends and, you know, just weigh my options and make the best decision.
One of those close friends is former Buckeye and now Seattle Seahawk Joey Galloway. Let's not forget, Galloway did come back for his senior year at Ohio State.
Now, I went up to Seattle a couple weeks ago, and you know, we talked about little things, but we haven't really discussed leaving early, things like that. But I mean, I get a lot of good feedback from him, so when I do get a chance to talk with him, I listen.
So what will David do? He says it's going to be a very tough decision to make.
I mean, I'm having the most fun of my time in my life right now. I mean, it's going to be a hard decision, but like I said, I got to weigh my options and look at the pros and cons and just make the best decision for myself.
And David Boston has until January 8th to make that decision. He says as soon as the bowl game over, he's going to sit down, talk things over, and try to figure out what he's going to do. I think it's fair to say, though, guys, Buckeye fans don't want David Boston to go anywhere.
We don't
But
want him to go
there's others,
anywhere. Yeah, he's not the only one. What about Rob Murphy, the Cats?
Yeah, the big cat, Andy Katzenmoyer. Those are two guys that we've heard mentioned that are thinking about it. I don't know. Those are two guys that the Buckeyes would sorely miss. A lot of people think it's a foregone conclusion that maybe Andy Katzenmoyer is going to go bye-bye, but I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think it's a foregone conclusion.
Oh, okay.
I think he's got some reservations in his mind. And getting back to Andrea and you being a party, where is the hoedown tonight?
Or the hoedown tonight? You're making fun of my boots?
He called him Colonel Sanders.
Where is the hoedown?
Look like Colonel Sanders. He wears
Andrea and I were down. Andrea, you and I were down here last year, and we had a great time dressed like this, right?
That act played in West Virginia. This is New Orleans, buddy.
Oh, it's a different thing, huh?
Ouch.
There's a little bit of political incorrectness there, I think. But
We love your
we're not going to worry about it.
And neither one of them look that good, so I don't know what they're arguing about.
Hey, what were you going to say, Andrea? What?
I was going to say, I'm speaking from experience because I was there last year with you, and I know you are a party animal, boots or no boots.
That's right, boots or no boots.
That's really kind of scary.
Have a good time
Well,
here.
I'll dress up for everybody tonight, 11 o'clock, okay? I'm sure they were.
Dave Kaler on an unsuspecting New Orleans. Back to you.
Have fun.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
We'll see you
Fun
at 6.
city there.
All right.
Our Buckeye Blitz coverage continues from New Orleans tonight. New at 6, we will have the very latest on the team and how they are preparing. They hope for a win.
Plus 10 TV takes you inside the Buckeye coaches meeting. It's where it all begins for Friday's big game.
WBNS 10 TV, your 24-hour news source. This is 10 TV Eyewitness News.
And the Buckeye run to be the AP's #1 college team is just 2 days away. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dave Kaler.
And I'm Angela Pace. We are live in New Orleans, the Big Easy. This is where the OSU Buckeyes hope that they are going to ring in the new year 1999 with the sweet sound of victory and success. And we do hope that the third time is a charm for the Superdome. The Buckeyes have lost the 2 previous times that they have played under this huge dome.
Isn't that gorgeous? That gorgeous picture we have behind us right now?
Like a postcard. Like a postcard.
Look at all the fans. Look what they were doing earlier today. The Buckeye Bash, right?
This is the Buckeye Bash, and we are talking serious bashing here. The cheerleaders were there, the fans cheering fans were there, the band, athletic director Andy Geiger, and of course the new president of OSU, Rick Kerwin, at his first Sugar Bowl as the OSU president. It was like a tailgate party, I guess, at the Ohio Stadium. It was huge and it was fun.
Yeah, it really is.
We are here for the 2nd year in a row. We love the Buckeyes. Our son was in the band for 5 years. We just can't get over it. We'll be with them forever.
Have you been to a bowl game before?
Yes, I have. I've been to the Rose Bowl. 2 years ago, I went to Pasadena.
Are you thinking this will end the same way?
I'm thinking it'll end even better.
Now, while the people were having fun and the Buckeye fans were at the Bash, the Buckeye players were hard at work on the practice turf.
That's right. And you know, Penny Moore has been tracking them all day long. She will not leave them alone, and she can tell us
Nice to see you
what the
guys.
Buckeye
Nice of
players
you to
are
finally
doing.
join us.
Well, you know, we brought the sunshine
Some of us
and
have
warmer
been here
temperatures.
so much. I've been here so long, I had to switch to my athletic shoes to keep up today.
Want to try the boots?
We'll be joining you in those shoes.
Okay, I give you 2 days and you'll be wearing these too. It's great to see you. The Buckeyes were in the Superdome early this morning, but while they were there, they were not alone. They were joined by some Texas A&M players and by a group of hundreds of youngsters from community centers and housing projects here in New Orleans. Now, the kids first picked up their T-shirts and then hit the playing field for the annual Kids Clinic. It's a chance to learn the plays from the nation's best.
Look it in, just look it in. That's it, nice. I think these are really good. They'll probably be in the Sugar Bowl one of these days.
Are you surprised at some of these kids?
Oh, wow, I can't believe it. I mean, some of these people, they'd probably catch it better than I ever could. I can't believe it.
It was hard to tell who was having the most fun today, the big guys or the little guys.
I'm having a real great time. I'm sure they are right now. They're killing me.
But everyone was learning something.
How to catch and kick and punt.
how to dance, and how to dress for aerodynamic advantage.
He runs real fast. He's going to blow up, and he don't want to be on national TV with his hat blowing off, so he want to look good at the same time.
But actually, these kids have already learned what counts.
Are you future Buckeyes or are you future Aggies?
Buckeyes.
Buckeyes. Go ahead, let's see what you got.
Of course, there were a few whose talents obviously lie elsewhere.
They don't look like a threat to you right now.
Not right now, but I bet in a few years they will be.
Although one youngster seemed to be after my job.
We are live at the New Orleans Superdome.
All in all, though, this was a day to remember.
There's nothing better than this. That's what I came to Ohio State all about.
Now, you may not have recognized some of those players. This was really an event for the freshman and sophomore players on the teams, the ones that don't get much recognition, but it was lots of fun. I don't know how they're going to play in years to come, Dave and Angela, but I got to tell you, these guys have great character.
Oh, what an opportunity for them, too.
They are going to be Buckeyes that we'll be proud of when they get to play.
Oh, that's
this whole community atmosphere that the entire university, both universities have picked up, this is something that bowl games all across the country have taken a part in the last 4 or 5 years. It's relatively new in the community.
The alumni have been doing these. The students have been on cleanup campaigns around the city. It's been very touching and a good experience for everyone who comes down, including us.
Good neighbors. That's that good neighbor policy. All right, thanks a lot, Penny. You know, Ohio State has been holding most of its practices inside this huge dome over here, the Superdome. And today, the Texas A&M Aggies had their shot to practice in the dome. The Aggies played their last game in a dome stadium. That was an upset win over Kansas State. We saw that one in the Big 12 championship game earlier this month. And the Aggies hope that they're going to get revenge for what the Buckeyes did to them back in 1987. Now, Ohio State took control of the Cotton Bowl. Remember that one? It was a convincing 28-12 win. OSU's defense forced 5 Texas A&M interceptions. 2 of them were returned for touchdowns. That was the year of the Earl Bruce fedora. Who could forget? That's right, the red shoes. I remember that. And I don't think Coach Bruce has ever really been separated from that fedora. Not since
not
then.
At all.
Yep.
And Jim Crusados, of course, a member of the play-by-play crew for the WBNS radio. He was the quarterback in that ball game.
Oh, that's right.
And was the winner. You know, this is kind of the last night that the players have a chance to play around and all this because the curfew begins, what, midnight on New Year's Eve, something like that?
I think so, yeah, far before ours.
That's what we understand, Jeff. We understand that you haven't had one so far this week, right?
Hey, we haven't missed a thing. We haven't missed a thing. We haven't missed any live shots. We've been out, spreading some Columbus personality around New Orleans.
Well, what's the latest on the team?
I think that's what you have to do anyway
New
when you're
Orleans
down here on
needs
this.
that, right?
Latest on the team, well, we've been following these guys all season long, as you know, and one of the guys that we can't figure out, Antoine Winfield, says that he's been having a rough couple of final games this season. I don't know how true that is. We've been seeing the All-American defensive back play out the end of the season. He says he's in a late season slump. I don't know. We thought we were seeing the Thorpe Award winner having an exceptional year, but Winfield says he was a bit lazy the last few games. Senior defensive back Damon Moore says, you know what, if that's lazy, then I want to go ahead and be just like Antoine Winfield. And you know what? The guy's the best in the country. I wouldn't mind being him either.
That's right. Glad to have him. Glad to have him. Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Sure, guys.
Well, the Buckeyes really do hope to repeat some of that magic, of course, in again this year. And in just a few minutes, we're going to take you inside an Ohio State coaches meeting where they're finalizing their game plan. Also, we're going to hear from Buckeye receiver David Boston, who hopes an ankle injury won't bother him in the Sugar Bowl, and find out about a Texas A&M player who poses a threat to OSU. Stay with 10 TV throughout the rest of the week for Buckeye Blitz coverage, and we'll be live in New Orleans to get you ready for the game, and we'll give you the flavor of Bayou Country all this week on 10 TV Eyewitness News.
All right, but right now let's go back to the studio in Columbus with Chuck and Andrea.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
You know, it's busy down there in the Big Easy and also busy here in...
Or going the class way, riding in a horse-drawn carriage. Buckeye fans are absolutely everywhere, and they are having such a good time. Yeah, woo, woo, woo. Back at you.
You know, as every hour passes, it seems like the fans, they get a little bit rowdier, right?
Just a little bit. We figure by Friday night things are really going to get out of hand. And speaking of getting out of hand, Penny Moore's been here all week, and she's been following Buckeye fans.
Now, I got to tell you, I'm having such a good time that I think my next career, I will be a Buckeye Bowl travel agent.
There you go.
What do you think?
Not a bad idea.
You like that?
Yeah, very good idea.
I think I'm now qualified after I went to the Buckeye Bash today. For those of you back home, just take all those thousands of tailgaters on a Saturday game day in Columbus and jam them all into a room at the convention center, and you have today's Buckeye Bash here in New Orleans.
The Buckeyes play pep rallies almost as well as they play football.
Say it again. Let's go. Let's go, Buckeyes.
The fans love it.
We love the Buckeyes. Our son was in the band for 5 years. We just can't get over it. We'll be with them forever.
The new university president loves it.
This going to a bowl is a pretty nice thing to do.
Neutron Man loves it. Even Jennifer from Wisconsin loves it.
You never lived in Ohio?
My dad did when he was a kid, but I never did know. But since I was a baby, I was a Buckeye fan.
And Buckeye fans say this Sugar Bowl will be a sweet victory for Ohio State.
I say 35 to 10.
Something like 42 to 17.
35 to 12.
Let's ready to give it, be ready to give it hell on Friday night. All together. Let's go!
Of course, who else was that but OSU Athletic Director Andy Geiger? I felt like going up to him and saying afterwards, do you think they're doing the Sugar Bowl in the Schottenstein Center? Is that why you're acting like this? He is an excited guy.
He's a little bit hyped, doesn't he?
He doesn't get a bonus for this, does he? It's not John Cooper.
It's passion.
Oh,
it's Buckeye passion. It's heartfelt. There's no monetary value attached.
He's a crazy man today.
That looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
Thanks,
It was
Penny.
great.
Thanks a lot. Okay, countdown is on. We are less than 48 hours away from the big game.
And we are. And the Buckeyes put the finishing touches on their game plan. And tonight we'll talk with some of the senior football players about what this game means to them.
Mounted Police getting ready for New Year's Eve in New Orleans, and they are telling people to stay in their homes for their own safety. Stay inside. Do not come outside. And basically they're doing that because all the out-of-towners like us are going to be out on the streets tomorrow night. Well, not us personally, but because we'll be working, but other out-of-towners will be out on the streets tomorrow night.
Speak for yourself. You're going to be working tomorrow night?
I'll be working tomorrow night because that's what I'm here for.
There's an advantage, though. We have an hour difference in time, so when we get off, it's really 10:30 here, so we have an hour and a half to get down before the new year.
I can bring in 99 twice then tomorrow.
You got it, absolutely.
Got it.
Chief Meteorologist Mike Davis back in Columbus. He's going to bring in the new year tomorrow night. It's really
Welcome back to NTV Sports live in the Louisiana Superdome. And of course, we've all been following Ohio State and holding out hopes that maybe they have a shot at a national championship. If that is to happen, of course, they have to beat Texas A&M first on Friday. And then they need a little bit of help. And that help came in the form last night of Purdue. The Boilermakers handed Kansas State their second loss of the year, and that makes the Big Ten look stronger. And if the Buckeyes win, then at worst, they will finish second in the country. And if Tennessee loses to Florida State, maybe OSU's argument for #1 would be strengthened.
Yeah, that's going to help us down the line when it comes down to deciding, you know, what conference is strongest. That's going to help our conference.
Well, we just have to play our game. I mean, all those possibilities are great, but as far as us just playing football, we have to go and play a hard game and play as best we can, and all that can take care of itself.
Boy, what a present that would be for these seniors. Speaking of which, that group is preparing to leave Ohio State as the winningest class in school history with 42 victories. They would love to add a 43rd win on Friday. The seniors have been the leaders of this team, and they have helped to form a close unit. And sometimes that's a little unusual for a football team with so many players. It's their teammates they will miss most.
We got great team chemistry this year. I think that's one thing we recognized real early before the season started, that was something that we had. and it's something that you don't get very often with a team of 100+ guys.
I'm just gonna miss everybody around here because this year I think this team really gelled together, and we we was just around each other, not even when we were in practice. So I mean, it's just gonna be a sad time.
Yeah, it is, but a happy time for us because we're going back to Columbus and Andy Baskin. Andy, what's going on today?
Thanks, Jeff. If you're planning on going to the Ohio State-Michigan hockey game coming up on Saturday night, you better get your tickets quick because they already have 16,000 pre-sold tickets. That means there's only about 1,500 left. Bowl action tonight, the Holiday Bowl, Nebraska and Arizona and San Diego. Arizona's Kelvin Ifan scores on the short run, and the Wildcats lead 23-20 in the fourth. The Lady Bucks make it 2 in a row tonight in the Big Ten with a 62-60 win over Michigan State. Also, the finals of the O Club Classic out at Otterbein. Otterbein's Ryan Roost with the dunk. The Cardinals beat Carthage College 88-81, led by Kevin Weekly's 31 points. That'll do it back here in Columbus. Let's send it back down to New Orleans.
All right, thanks a lot, Andy. Sports photographer Matt Shedenhelm shows off his work to us and you at home all the time. Here's another sample as an Ohio State team takes a shot at its 3rd national title in flag football.
Amen. 3 Raiders. 1, 2, 3 Raiders. Go. It was all over the street last night. Go. 3-peat. 3-peat. I'll shoot. I'll shoot. 3-peat. 3-peat. Let's go, defense. Let's go. Let's go.
I love the competition. That's the only thing that brings me back.
It's actually a lot of fun. We get to do it like this is our 3rd time coming. It's a lot of extracurricular activity, just keeping us in shape.
We took the movie like, oh, I'm gone. Nice job, baby.
Asian sensation, man. You get a little bit of contact, but it's more just speed, pitching the ball. It's almost, our game is more closer to rugby, where we're going down the field pitching and trying to keep it away, almost like hot potato.
I just can't beat this weather. This is fun as anything. Come down and watch Ohio State and the Sugar Bowl. It's the time of our life right now.
We didn't even know the rules. We think we were stopping playing on some of the plays they had. But it's fun. That's why we're here.
Now, of course, maybe the Buckeyes could use something out of that playbook. They won the game 50-6 today. Let's go back outside to Angela and Dave.
All right, love those socks, like those little Munchkin striped socks they were wearing. They were cool.
There are so many things to do here in New Orleans, and when you come down here, you're going to see a lot of tap dancing going on in the streets.
That's right, and street artists like this one can make up to, listen to this, $60,000 a year. We're going to have more from the Big Easy coming your way.
And here's a live look at the Columbus skyline, a very cold New Year's Eve forecast. A final check on your wake-up weather when 10 TV Eyewitness News continues live from New Orleans.
I hope you guys you're looking pretty cash down there tonight.
There we are. No mercy, Mike. Wow, that was cool.
That's all right. He'll get one of these assignments one of these days.
Right.
We're going to send him down someplace along the equator or someplace like that.
He'd love that. He'd love that.
A lot of things going on here tomorrow.
That's right. We're going to give you a look at that before we leave you. First of all, tomorrow, President Britt Kerwin will join students to help the homeless here in New Orleans.
And the bands will face off in the Superdome in the afternoon, spreading their stuff. And in the late afternoon, the team will practice one last time in the Dome.
And of course, students and alumni getting ready for the New Year's Eve bashes.
Thank you so much for having us in for news. We'll see you tomorrow, live from New Orleans.
And don't forget, go Bucks. We'll see you.
Sugar Bowl updates from New Orleans, all this week on 10 TV.
Well, while we're here in the snow, other Buckeyes are soaking up the sun in New Orleans.
That's right. Tomorrow is the day the Buckeyes take on Texas A&M. And today, the team will take to the field for one last practice. Then it's a waiting game until kickoff Friday at 8:30. This is where it'll all happen, the Superdome. We're told today that all 75,000 seats have been sold. But we're told that for every one Buckeye, there will be 3 Aggies in the Dome.
What?
Not good. But the 10 TV Buckeye Blitz crew will be there cheering them on, and our sports team's Dom DeBerry joins us live from outside the Superdome. So, Dom, are they ready to go?
Well, I think they are ready to go. The time for talking is over. It's time to play the game. I think both teams are ready to play this game and want to play it as soon as possible. About 9:30 this morning, both coaches, Coach John Cooper, of course, the coach of the Buckeyes, and R.C. Slocum, who coaches Texas A&M, they met with the media for the final time before the game. Both coaches very upbeat.
No, I feel real good where we are now. I think we've been focused. We've had some real good workouts. We haven't had any distractions. We haven't had any off-the-field problems. Nobody's broken curfew or, no problems in the hotel or anything like that. So everything has gone pretty smoothly so far.
From a coach, what you want to do is go out on the field and let the players play and say, let's see if they're good enough to beat us. Let's play for 60 minutes. Let's play the whole ball game. And if we're good, let's walk off with our heads up. So, you know what? We played our hearts out, gave them our best shot, and we weren't good enough.
Ohio State, of course, a very big favorite in this ball game. The Buckeyes still thinking perhaps a share of the national championship. If Ohio State can put one on Texas A&M, Florida State beats Tennessee, not looking too impressive. The AP voters may vote for Ohio State. Buckeyes could end up with a share of the national title, guys.
Okay, Dami, give that voice a rest.
Yeah,
okay?
get some honey and lozenges and tea and rest.
Everything else. Thanks a lot, Donna. Of course, Dom and the rest of the 10 TV sports team will be keeping a close eye on the Bucks up to game time. As for the team today, the pressure is on. This afternoon, they will practice one last time in the Superdome. Then it's going to be off to dinner and a movie. And after that, they're going to ring in the new year, but they have a curfew, 12:30.
They still get to ring it in.
Yeah, that's right.
And that could be dangerous
Absolutely.
in that city. All right, we will keep tabs on them, of course. And your Buckeye Blitz coverage will continue right here on 10 TV. Tonight at 6 o'clock, Angela and Dave will join us live again from New Orleans. And then at 7 o'clock, we will have a special 1-hour show on the Sugar Bowl. And our live reports from the Bayou will continue straight through Saturday morning.
Of course, our Buckeye Blitz coverage continues. Live reports through Saturday.
Finally, today we leave you with a very familiar song.
Man of scarlet and gray, don't let them through that line. We have to win this game today. Come on, Ohio! Smash through to victory. We'll cheer you as we go.
The Buckeye Blitz, tonight at 7 on 10 TV.
Okay, thanks a lot. Appreciate it very much, Jeff. And tonight the team will spend New Year's Eve together. They are going out to dinner, and then they are going to a movie on this New Year's Eve. The celebration will end early, though, because the curfew is at 12:30. The team will lay low tomorrow. They have for the Superdome, or head for the Superdome tomorrow at 5:30. Kickoff is at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time or Columbus time.
And, of course, the best damn band in the land is in town today and has hit the practice turf already. And the band was out practicing earlier today, practicing their halftime show. But, of course, it will be the traditional Script, Ohio that really fires up all the fans tomorrow. Other students from Ohio State were busy today also. They were volunteering their time at a New Orleans homeless shelter. There are more than 300 students working on service projects in the area, and the new university president is pitching in right alongside them.
You know, everybody's down here having a good time, but what's so impressive is to see that people are taking time to come do some sort of community service, and it's so important to do because it shows you that a lot of people are sort of on the other side of life and having a difficult time.
And other students were busy also today. They were in homeless shelters and hospitals doing what they could to help out.
It's a great project. They've been doing that all week long. We'll stay with 10 TV throughout the rest of the week for the Buckeye Blitz coverage. We'll be live in New Orleans to get you ready for the game. And stay with us tonight at 7 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock. It's a special edition of the Buckeye Blitz from the Bayou. We now want to take you back to the studios in Columbus.
Back now to Andrea Camburn and Chuck Strickler for a look at today's news.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Well, now we want to go back to New Orleans, where the New Year's Eve parties are already underway.
Let's check in again with Dave and Angela in, where are they?
They're outside.
Outside the dome. Outside the dome. Hi, guys.
We are. How are you? All right?
Good. So far, so good.
Happy New Year to you. Listen, there's no snow here in New Orleans because the temperature was 65 today. But take a look at our radar back in Columbus because our exclusive dual Doppler 10 radar is keeping an eye out for any more in Columbus. Chief Meteorologist Mike Davis has your year-end forecast.
And take a look at this, because this is the man who will dot the I tomorrow. Dotting the I in Script, Ohio is Bill Miller, a senior at The Ohio State University. We'll be right back.
And we are back here in New Orleans. Angela Pace, along with myself, Dave Kidd. Did you have a good day today, right, weather-wise?
Yep. Good day weather-wise. What about back there in Columbus, Mike Davis?
It wasn't a half bad day. We had a little bit of sun. We had some snow this morning, of course, which slowed things down. You didn't see it there. And I've looked at your forecast for tomorrow. You're close to 70. And let's put it this way. We're not even in that neighborhood. But we.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mike. Appreciate it.
Time now to go inside the Superdome, where our sports team's Jeff Hogan is inside with a look at what the Buckeyes were doing today. Jeff?
Yeah, bring it in here, guys. You know what? Today was the final day for preparations, but Joe Germain is preparing for his future. We'll talk about that when sports returns. Welcome back to 10 TV Sports live in the Louisiana Superdome. We are just a day away, and the hay is in the barn, as they say. Not much you can do any further. A lot of finals going on. Final walkthroughs, final practices for the Buckeyes today. That's what they went through. The mood was a little too light, actually, for Coach Cooper. He made the team re-enter the Dome's practice field because he didn't think they were serious enough. The team then practiced for about an hour. They'll take in dinner and a movie, and despite that light atmosphere, Cooper doesn't believe there is even a hint of overconfidence.
I don't see us scoring a lot of points against our defense, to be honest with you. I'd like to, but you don't play an easy team in the January the 1st bowl game. We're not overconfident, I can tell you that right now.
On the opposite side of the spectrum, Texas A&M is the underdog once again. Not a role they relish, but one they're used to. R.C. Slocum's Aggies were in the Dome as well today. Tomorrow, of course, is game day, and that's when Slocum wants the outcome to be decided.
If they're good enough to beat us, so be it. Let's don't let all the bull before the game beat us. You know, let's don't let all the hoopla and this and they're picked and they're this and that. Let's don't let that beat us. Let's go out there and make their players, if they're good enough, then we'll walk off the field. So we played our best game.
All right, now getting hitched, we're not talking about a pass route here. Getting hitched is what Joe Germain will be doing in the future, taking care of things. Got engaged over Christmas break to a girl named Lori Whiting from BYU. She's a sophomore there, and just like Kevin Griffin and Ben Gilbert, some people on this team already married, well, he's going to go ahead and do it over Christmas. He got engaged, like I said. She's been friends with Joe for 15 years, and when they get together, it sounds like the dating game here, they like to go on picnics and throw the football around. Imagine that. This is how Joe completed the best pass of his life.
Christmas Eve, you know, he took me on a picnic, and we were just playing catch like we always do at the park, and he just ran over to me and said, "Hey, Lori, try and throw this," and popped out the ring and got down on his knee, and he's so cool. I mean, what's his nickname? Cool Joe, or he's always poised, so he was just as poised proposing as any time. But
how about that romantic Joe Germain getting down on his knee? Hopefully he'll stay off his knees during the game. More football. Even if Tennessee loses, well, you know what? There will still be one undefeated team in the country. That's because, check out today's game. Tulane, located right here in New Orleans. A perfect season was capped with a drubbing of BYU. The Green Waves' 60-yard touchdown pass from Sean King to Kerwin Cook. Tulane ends the season with a 12-0 record by beating BYU 41-27. Is the final in that game. BYU, isn't that where Lori Whiting goes to school? She's not going to be happy about that one, I don't think. Now, we told you yesterday about a flag football team from OSU playing in a national championship today, or trying to get there. They just didn't make it. Came up just a little short in their bid in the semifinals today. But had they won, it probably would have looked something like this, don't you think? Well, maybe not. I don't know. This is actually the locker room following the win over Michigan. Coming up tonight at 11, we'll show you what the fight song sounds like following a big win, and something the Bucks hope to see repeated tomorrow night. That's it for this, and I'll send it back to Dave and Angela. I'll see you guys at 11.
All right, Jeff, thanks a lot. And our congratulations as well to Joe Germain and his fiancée.
And right now, we're going to take it back to Columbus for a look at First Night Columbus. We'll be right back. In New Orleans in the Big Easy on the eve of the Sugar Bowl.
And let's take it back to Columbus at the State House, where Kelly Hudson is getting ready for First Night.
That's right, the big downtown countdown happens at about 11:15 tonight. You can still get your First Night buttons. They're selling them on all four corners of the State House. And want to leave you now with some music from Boogie Oogie Oogie. Happy New Year, everybody, 1999.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kelly. And of course, we will be back in just a little while with our Sugar Bowl special.
And a Happy New Year to those of you if you're not going to make it up to move into the new year. See you later.
Good night.
Well, the new year is less than an hour away, but the parties are already underway and all across the nation, really. And the party is in full swing right now in New Orleans.
Plenty of Buckeyes down there ready to cheer on their team tomorrow in the Sugar Bowl. And our Buckeye Blitz coverage takes us now live to New Orleans, and Dave Kaler and Angela Pace. Dave and Angela, this has to be a wild place to be on New Year's Eve.
It most certainly is. It is a wild place. You know what? There's no threat of snow here either, right?
Hopefully. At least not in the dome, anyway.
Happy New Year's from all of us here in the 10 TV crew in New Orleans.
We are where it is all going to happen tomorrow night, where a lot is happening right now, too. But it's really going to happen tomorrow night because the Buckeyes are hoping that they are going to start off 1999 with a win. Thousands of Buckeyes are bringing in the new year in the French Quarter tonight. More than 50,000 people will watch the ball drop from here in the Big Easy.
Now, one thing we know who's not there tonight. They are the Buckeyes themselves. After getting their team pictures today, the group headed to dinner and a movie. And curfew for the guys is at 12:30 Central Standard Time tonight.
And that is a good thing because they're going to need all the rest they can get for the big game tomorrow. Kickoff will be at 8:30 inside this mammoth dome that you see behind us. That is the Superdome, and it is there that the Buckeyes hope to defeat the Aggies of Texas A&M. And we understand today that the odds are in the Buckeyes' favor.
And we'll take that too. We don't know how good that is, but we're going to go to Jeff Hogan right now in the Superdome. And Jeff, tell us, what are those odds?
Well, the odds are 12.5-point favorites. That's what the Buckeyes are favored by, and it depends on who you ask down here, who you think will win it. The Aggies brought, I guess, a 3-to-1 fan ratio, but you know what? This time of night on this evening, they better be ready. Their preparations are over. The final practice walkthrough is a thing of the past. Coach Cooper has been pleased with the team's preparations this week. They are close to ringing in the new year. But you know what? Then it's straight to bed. This is the first game for them in a month. It's their second straight Sugar Bowl, but really tonight it's just another Friday night before a game.
No, I feel real good where we are now. I think we've been focused. We've had some real good workouts. We haven't had any distractions. We haven't had any off the field problems. You know, nobody's broken curfew or no problems in the hotel or anything like that. So everything has gone pretty smoothly so far.
12:30 curfew tonight. Right after they ring in the new year, they'll be hitting the hay. But you know what? The end of the year means the beginning of next year, and the Buckeyes trying to start off 1999 with a big win in the Sugar Bowl over Texas A&M. I'll be back in sports. We'll hear from some players. We'll talk about some players, break down the keys to the game. Lots of stuff still to come.
Okay, Jeff.
We look forward to it, Jeff. And our Buckeye Blitz continues. We're going to take you inside the locker room after OSU beat the Michigan Wolverines.
And if you like the Buckeyes, you'll want to see this tape. Also coming your way, we shot this video. Buckeye fans in the Big Easy bringing in the new year. And we take you to the Cajun Party next. And there it is, the Buckeyes' secret weapon, Script Ohio, performed by the Ohio State University Marching Band. And this was today's practice run in the Superdome. Incidentally, the fans are going to love the halftime show tomorrow night, too.
That's right. And speaking of those fans, let's see, it is New Year's Eve. We're in New Orleans. I just wonder where they could possibly be, Penny. And I knew you'd be the person who could track them down. Could they be in the French Quarter?
As every day goes by, I get a little more worn out. I just want you to know that, tracking these people around. But in about 45 minutes, there's going to be action down in the French Quarter like you and I have never seen. Maybe we wouldn't want to see it, I don't know. But New Year's Eve in the French Quarter on Bourbon Street, of course, is legendary. And the Buckeye fans will be down there in force. But remember, there are some other fans there from that school over in Texas.
Fans are in full voice for New Year's Eve. And down in the French Quarter, it looks a little like Times Square and the Easter Parade. Except there are Aggies on the prowl, and they're slinking into Buckeye paths.
We ran into them. They won't hardly look at us. They won't hardly speak to us.
They've given us a wide berth. You know, they see us coming, they cross the street.
Some Buckeyes look at it as a learning experience.
They've had to explain to us what an Aggie is, and we had to explain to them what a Buckeye was.
What do they say an Aggie is?
An Aggie is an agriculture, they're a farmer.
But one Buckeye seemed a little worried.
They're outnumbering us.
Correct.
So we're very concerned about that.
But the best attitude in the French Quarter tonight belongs to Brian Taylor from Zanesville.
I'm fired up.
I'm fired up.
I'm fired up.
Fired up.
Now, we shot those pictures a little while ago, and it's Central Time Zone here, but I can tell you, by midnight, there are going to be, as you said, 50,000 people down there. Now, this is what you wear in New Orleans, okay, or New Orleans, as they say, New Orleans, on New Year's Eve, and in honor of the fact that in about 48 minutes, it'll be your birthday, my dear.
Happy birthday.
Here's your beads.
Thank you.
These cost me $2, I want you to know.
Okay, put it on my tab. All right, thank you very much. And Happy New Year to
Happy
you,
New Year.
Penny.
Happy
Thanks
New
a
Year.
lot.
Why don't you tell us the whole story as
got
to
my
what you
birthday
do,
beads.
what they have to do to get the beads?
I know, I would not
It's more than
say
having
that
happy
on
birthday.
television.
This is a family show.
It's a
and
family
people
show?
just have to come down
Okay.
here and find out
Just
for
let
themselves.
it be known that I did not do what you're supposed to do to get those beads.
Purchased,
Sure.
okay.
I purchased them.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Penny. Thank you very much. It is a great night to party here in the Bayou.
No, it really is. The weather couldn't be any better here. Look at those beautiful shots, really, of New Orleans. But there's nothing like that here when you take a look at our radar. A lot of snow is on the way this weekend. Down 10 Chief Meteorologist Mike Davis is up next with the 1999 forecast for Central Ohio. Fireworks. Here we go.
You're looking at live pictures of the New Year's Eve celebration here in New Orleans, almost 1999, and the people down here on the Bayou have been celebrating and partying like it's 1999. That's according to the artist formerly known as Prince. Well, 1999, we understand, is coming in like a polar bear in some places.
And with that, let's get back to the studios in Columbus and check on our weather forecast with the Chief Meteorologist Mike Davis. And Chuck's there too. Chuck?
The vengeance, thank you. And if you want a sure sign of the difference in the temperature between here and New Orleans, look at Dave Kaler's short sleeves.
That's right. Right now we want to go back live to New Orleans where Dave and Angela are standing by. Pretty warm down there, guys.
It's very comfortable, even though
tonight.
the sun has gone down. We got a little bit of a breeze. It's still very comfortable here. You guys are a lot closer to 1999 there than we are to 1999 here.
Actually, though, back there, you're just 40 minutes away from the brand new year. We'll have that story coming up. Stay with us, and we're going to tell you more about the party here in the Bayou. Back in just a moment.
All right, it's New Year's Eve in New Orleans, but for the players, that just means another standard, regular Friday night here. Unfortunate for them. They will ring in the new year, but curfew is 12:30, so soon after that they'll have to trot back to the hotel and make sure they make that curfew. 8:30 is kickoff tomorrow night, of course, for the 1999 Sugar Bowl. And as I said, a regular Friday, including walkthrough at the Superdome and dinner and a movie. OSU is going through the final phases of its preparation. Coach John Cooper is pleased with the players, saying they seem ready to go. As for what the Bucs expect against Texas A&M, Kansas State may fit into that plan. Now, Texas A&M has been quietly preparing as well right here in the Superdome. And you think that beating Michigan is a big win for Ohio State? Well, how about beating Kansas State in double overtime for the Big 12 Conference Championship? That's exactly what Texas A&M's Aggies did. But you know what? A&M cannot win the national championship, but they had some thoughts on Ohio State doing it.
If Florida State beats Tennessee and Ohio State were to beat us, then I think you have to, if you're going to vote with some objectivity, you'd have to look and say, okay, now I think which of these two teams I think is the best team.
All right, it's nice to hear from the coaches and all, but we all know that the players will decide this one on the field tomorrow, and a closer look reveals some of the key players that we will see in uniform tomorrow. First off, here is what it looks like from our perspective. Texas A&M's Sir Parker is the Aggies' fastest player. They'll use him out of the backfield in third down situations. He's a big pass-catching threat. Joe Germain is the Buckeyes' big pass-throwing threat. He'll have to come out sharp after taking a month off from game action. Buckeyes hope the timing is what it was against Michigan. On the OSU defense, Antoine Winfield has declared his late-season slump over. None of his teammates noticed any lack of enthusiasm, but watch out for an inspired Winfield in the Bucs secondary. And, of course, across the field, Dat Nguyen will lead the Aggies' wrecking crew defense. He's bound to get 10 or 12 tackles in this game, but can they make enough big plays to keep Ohio State from scoring at its 37 points per game average? That is good for 12th in the country, and, of course, it led the Big Ten in scoring as well. Now, it hasn't happened in his entire career, but when you talk about place kicker Dan Stoltz, he would love to get a chance to win this game against Kansas State, just cap a great season. The Ohio State place kicker hasn't had the opportunity to win a game for the Buckeyes in his career, but if it came down to it, Stoltz wouldn't shy away. Although he has had an up-and-down season kicking, he would love to end it on a positive note.
You know, I'm ready to do that, and I've been ready to do that. I haven't had a chance to since I've been here, but it would be something that would be really, really neat, and we come off a great win, and I think a great season for our team.
All right, now like Dan said, it would make everybody's season to go ahead and win this game, no matter how it's done. And years from now, when people look back, they could see a team that finished second in the country with one 4-point loss.
I mean, obviously we're disappointed. You'd love to be playing for all the marbles. You'd love to have control of your own destiny and stuff like that. But no, we're not disappointed in being in the Sugar Bowl and playing Texas A&M.
I think we showed at the end of the year with the Iowa game and the Michigan game that certainly our players are ready to rebound and be the kind of team we are.
All right, now I know a lot of New Year's Eve parties that will not be as spirited as the locker room at Ohio State after beating Michigan. Check this out because we have an exclusive look inside that party. Nice party there. Hopefully we'll get some semblance of that celebration tomorrow night after this ball game. I tell you what, the 1999 New Year's resolution is to get right back here because next year the national championship is played here once again.
All right, we're ready for it. Thanks a lot, Jeff, and Happy New Year to you.
Of course, our Buckeye Blitz really steps into high gear tomorrow. Here's the schedule. You want to keep tabs on this one. We'll be live here tomorrow at 5, 6, and 11 with the latest on the Buckeye team as they head towards a Sugar Bowl victory. We'll also get you an all-access pass to the Big Fan Jam Party, and we'll have the most complete coverage after the game right here on 10 TV. And with all of that, Happy New Year to all of you out there from New Orleans.
That does it for all of us here in New Orleans. We want to wish all of you a Happy New Year back there, Helen and Chuck, and go Bucks.
Thank you. Same sentiments here, you guys.
Okay, one place you definitely won't have to worry about the weather today is inside the Superdome in New Orleans.
The Buckeyes just hours away from their Sugar Bowl battle. They should be pretty well rested. They got to bed around 12:30 last night. It was a quick New Year's Eve celebration on Bourbon Street and then right to bed for the team. We're live in New Orleans this morning. 10 TV's Robin Simmons is up very early after her own New Year's Eve celebration. Was it right for you?
Well, you know, my New Year's Eve was spent sleeping. I slept in 1999 because I knew I'd have to get up. But you know what? Getting up this morning, I picked up the paper, and who should be in the sports section this morning but Coach Cooper talking about their last chance to get their workouts ready before the big game today. And we want to let you know what the team is going to be up to today. They've got a chapel visit this morning. Then later on, their pregame meal before they head off to the Superdome. And last night, fans were celebrating not only the new year, of course, but that Sugar Bowl game that is tonight. They were in the French Quarter getting their groove on and having fun, ringing in the new year, New Orleans style. But before that celebration, the Buckeyes did their thing in the Superdome. I'm not talking about practice. I'm talking about their team picture. One day before the big game, getting their smiles together for the camera. And as I mentioned, yesterday was the team's last practice before the game, the last news conference before the game. So a lot of tension, a lot of anticipation about the game. Things have been pretty low-key until yesterday, but we talked to Coach Cooper about what's going on with the team.
No, I feel real good where we are now. I think we've been focused. We've had some real good workouts. We haven't had any distractions. We haven't had any off-the-field problems. Nobody's broken curfew or, no problems in the hotel or anything like that. So everything has gone pretty smoothly so far.
So it looks like the Buckeyes are nice and keyed up, but focused for the game today. And fans all over the place are getting keyed up too. As I was on my way here this morning, there were some fans who were a little rowdy, who were being taken away by hotel security. So some folks got a little too excited yesterday, but hopefully they can reserve some of that for that big Superdome back there for tonight.
Yeah, we need the high spirits at the game.
We do.
All right, 10 TV's Robin Simmons live in New Orleans. We're going to see you in a little bit.
Everyone is talking about on this New Year's Day. The lines are drawn and the battle in the bayou is ready to begin. Cajun country is being overrun by Buckeyes and Aggies. And these are live pictures from the Superdome in New Orleans this afternoon. It's here where OSU will take on Texas A&M in the Sugar Bowl tonight. Today, the streets were full of football fans gearing up for the big game tonight. The Bucs are going to have to cheer 3 times as loud for their team. We are outnumbered 3-1 when it comes to Aggie fans. The band is hoping they will help drown out the opponents. Today, they suited up and practiced in the Dome. And our 10 TV Buckeye Blitz team is just outside the Superdome. Dave Kaler and Angela Pace join us live right now. What's it like down there today? A lot of excitement, of course. A lot of folks getting ready for tonight.
That is it.
They really are.
That's it, Chuck and Andrea. I tell you, people seem to have recovered from New Year's Eve on Bourbon Street, and things are really starting to pick up here. We can hear the music from the tailgate parties in back of us here at the Superdome.
In fact, we really are, Chuck and Andrea, only about 3.5 hours away from the game time. There hasn't been much action around the Dome all week, that is, until today. Take a look at this. We want to take you now inside the Superdome. On this field is where it will all play out eventually.
Now, right now, the team is getting ready to arrive at the Superdome. Buses will leave their hotel at about 5:25 this evening. They should arrive here about 15 or 20 minutes later so that the Buckeyes can get ready for that big game.
Hey guys, you know, the last thing you do before you have some company over is you got to clean the carpet, right? So that's what they're doing. I think they're sweeping things up here in the Superdome, getting it all together. We are here long before the team, obviously, but that doesn't mean the Buckeyes and all their people have not been getting ready for this game long before we even got here. Check out the scene just a little while ago. We've got some pictures inside the locker room. As the jerseys and equipment was laid out, the Buckeyes are hoping their uniforms have a little extra quick step in them tonight because Ohio State is playing a fast team on AstroTurf. The quickness on offense is obvious with guys like Sir Parker, but you also have to be concerned with how well A&M's defense runs to the ball.
Their biggest asset is their team speed. They have a nice mixture of some veterans along with some youth. They do have a fair number of sophomores on that defensive unit, but they also have a good blend of some seniors for their leadership. So I would say, Tim, that team speed is probably their biggest forte.
There you have it. You heard it from Coach Mike Jacobs. Team speed, something to be reckoned with. Well, Ohio State is not very slow either, so it should be a good matchup. We're getting geared up here for it, Angela.
All right, we're geared up for it here too, Jeff. Thanks a lot. A lot of Buckeye fans today took advantage of the great weather here in New Orleans. It's really kind of balmy here, especially compared to what you have there in Columbus. And they decided they were going to go out on the town a little bit today. Fans flooded the French Quarter, picking up trinkets in scarlet and gray, taking a last chance before kickoff to enjoy the Crescent City. Everyone is looking for an Ohio State win, at least all the Buckeye fans are. And a coach from another Buckeye team is looking for wins across the board at OSU.
Oh, all of athletics. Let's just win a bunch of conference championships, a bunch of titles. We'll take it.
Okay, we'll take it. Fans are on the move now. They are making their way to the Louisiana Superdome.
And as we said a bit earlier, until today, there hasn't been much activity around the Superdome, but that activity level is really getting to a fever pitch right now. And that's where 10 TV's Penny Moore is in the thick of it all. We even got the high-powered microphone and ear sets on for you. Look at that, yeah.
I tell you, I can join the sports team now that I know how to
That's
use
right.
these, Dave and Angela. Hey, look at the Buckeyes behind me. Hey, guys, you're on TV. Come on. This, of course, is the Superdome behind me, and this is where all the fans are gathering. That's WBNS Radio over there broadcasting live, that yellow tent. And I want to show you something horrible. This is what the Aggies did on Bourbon Street to a Buckeye flag last night, but it was rescued by a true Buckeye fan who went up on one of those balconies in the French Quarter to save the flag. Now, there was a lot of activity in the French Quarter, today. That's where the Buckeyes were spending most of the day. And as we looked around, we have to say, we think there were just as many Aggies down there as there were Buckeyes. But young and old were enjoying the entertainment New Orleans style as they waited for the big game. So what do you think's going to happen tonight?
I think the Buckeyes are going to kill Texas A&M.
Okay, that's your very first prediction from the youngster of a win. He was obviously from Columbus. The fans are here. We think there are some Aggie fans down here, but we're not sure. We think it's mostly Buckeyes, Dave and Angela.
Yeah, all right,
Kenny,
thanks a lot.
You salvaged some of your beads from last night from Bourbon Street, huh? Oh, I guess she can't hear me. She's already partying. She's partying seriously. Well, our Buckeye Blitz does continue in just a few minutes.
It really does tonight at 5:30. Dom Taberry joins us for his package tonight. You're going to see a fantastic package as you have all week long from Dommy, and these are part of the halftime people getting ready to rehearse in the Dome.
And then coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, I will talk one-on-one with the woman who has been beside and behind the man who is leading the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll have an interview with Helen Cooper, and we'll have the latest on the team as the clock winds down to game time. Now, our crews are going to stay inside, and they're going to cover the game and all the action around the Superdome, and we're going to bring you complete team coverage of the Sugar Bowl with live reports through Saturday, so make sure you stay with us.
Right now, we send it back to Columbus, and Chuck and Andrea getting ready for that winter storm. Incidentally, we're getting part of that storm here, the tail end. It's wind right now, but it's supposed to be torrential rains by midnight tonight.
Really? Be glad, though, Dave. You don't need those boots there, that's for sure. Thanks a lot.
All right.
On the field. And 10 TV Eyewitness News' Dave Kaler and Angela Pace are getting ready for all the action as they have been all this week. Today is the day, guys.
This is the big day, Chuck, no doubt about it. And fans, Buckeye fans all over the place today. In fact, there's kind of an argument going on here, you know? Who has the most, Buckeye fans or the Aggies?
We understand that the Aggies outnumber the Buckeyes 3-1, but you could not prove it by the amount of noise the Buckeye fans have been making just in the couple of days that I've been here. I know Robin Simmons is out in the thick of everything. Robin, please tell us that these Buckeye fans are going to make as much noise inside the Dome as they've been making on Bourbon Street, in the French Quarter, and in our hotel.
You know what, Angela? I think it would be very hard to prove that Buckeye fans cannot be as loud as Aggie fans. You know, there's been a lot of talk this week about a long-standing tradition at Texas A&M called the 12th man. It calls for fans to stand the entire length of the game, symbolizing their readiness to jump in if something should happen to a player. But I went to the French Quarter today to talk to some Buckeye fans to see what they thought about this tradition and if they were intimidated at all. Buckeyes down by the riverside are seeing scarlet and gray and hearing a lot about Aggie fans outnumbering them 3-1 on the streets and in the Dome.
They might outdo us in numbers of fans, but not in playing and not in fan enthusiasm.
These Buckeyes at Café du Monde say, remember Michigan?
Michigan game, we were on our feet the whole game when we played Michigan this year. We can do it.
We're going to out-yell them. We're going to out-yell them.
And loud? These guys say out screaming a few measly Aggies is no biggie. Besides, their cab driver says a certain number 45 could wipe out any Aggie problems.
Linebacker for the Bucks that wears that number and knock down 3 or 4 Aggies. You heard that?
Eleanor Cherry Holmes remembers another bowl matchup between Ohio and that Texas team in '87 and says the Sugar Bowl will be just as sweet.
Instead of the Alamo, why, remember the Cotton Bowl, and that'll do it. That's for sure. That's true. You got it.
On the streets of New Orleans, they're sweet on the Sugar Bowl, and just look at how they're dressed. Looks like they're sweet on the Buckeyes, too. And, of course, standing outside the Superdome, we've got lots of Buckeye fans out here, and you know what? They are saying that the Aggies are no way going to be able to drown them out.